Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, we've got some exclusive stuff to show you on the test server. Woo! We're on there. We've got 8 new champions to look at. In this video, there will be another video where I look at the referral program and the new champions that will be available through that as well. So 2 videos dropping at the same time. Let's start with the 8 new champions. Now, 4 epics are going to make up the legendary. So we've got 4 new epics. 1 legendary as part of the fragment collector for this week. And then we've got 3 other new legendary champions as well. So, damn, lots to get through in this video. Get yourself a mug of tea. Let's go. Okay, then, let's dive into the epics and see if they're any good. Like, a lot of people are saying this fusion, easy skip, not the best one they're going to get. I think it's a decent champion, and we'll go through it in this video, but I think it's a decent legendary. Just not a game changer, not one that's kind of like must have for your account. So let's see if these epics are any good. This is going to be my first look at them as well. Now, Sacred Order. They have got a shed ton of epics already. A ton. Compare it to High Elves. And guess what? We've got 2 more. 2 more in the Sacred Order. So let's start with Anchorites. Anchorites. Got smoky old shoulders with a little bit of, I don't know, maybe it's just like a nice smelling salts or something. All these runes on him, actually. That's quite pretty cool. Pretty cool looking dude, I guess. He's a support. Not going to be tanking up too much damage, but he is looking mysterious with his pointy hat. So what we got? Fairly low defense, good speed, good HP for a support champion, for a support epic. Damage is based on attack, where he's only actually got 1 attack that hits, but it's an AoE A1. Heals the ally with the lowest HP for 10% of the damage that he does. So you're kind of saying, do I want to build him for damage for a nice heal, but nothing else that he's doing is doing any damage, which makes it a bit weird. Yeah, a bit more on books here. His A2 removes a debuff from allies, then increases the duration of all ally buffs. This skill is actually really good on a 3-turn. This can be good for kind of clan boss setting up your champions for like infinity teams or just kind of like general buffage. With a heal as well, there's not many that kind of come with another decent ability, honestly. So this is kind of nice. And then he's got fully heals a target and then gives your team crit rate and crit damage for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. Probably makes him one of the best champions that does this ability here, where he's increasing your buffs. Yeah, there's not many on a 3-turn that do good stuff, honestly. You've got Godseeker and Neri is one, Sandlash is another. They've got their own kind of pluses and minuses, honestly, but this one is pretty decent. Like, his kit is good. So for an epic, I'd say this is a good champion here. HP in all battles as well. You know, this champion, if he's pretty obtainable, is probably worth more to my free-to-play than the legendary, honestly. Just because this skill is quite rare to find, and I've already got a shield champion in Helicaf on my free-to-play. So pretty interesting epic, Anchorites. Let's have a look at Carlinia. Oh yes, instead of candlesticks off the shoulders, they're coming straight off the head. What is with these weird candlestick champions? Honestly, what is going on with the person that wants to keep like putting candles coming off of people? I don't get it. I don't get it, Clarium. This artist, whoever you are, leave the obsession at home with the candles. It's too much. Right, what's going on? Great base defense, good base HP, very fast as well, but damage is based on attack. So hard to build up to high attack. Sometimes these champions hit hard though. Depends on multipliers. So we've got an HP burn A1. It's pretty good for an epic. We've got an AoE decrease attack A2. This debuff cannot be resisted by targets under a burn. Wow, that's a pretty good A2. That's a pretty good A2. Books up to, what's it, 55%, 60, 75. Books up to 75% chance. And books to a 3-turn decrease attack champion. And if you bear in mind, this faction has got Mordecai as a burner. It's now got Cupidus as a burner, Venus as a burner. So you've got some decent ways to get that activated in this faction. So it kind of synergizes with what's going on in the factions here. And this means you wouldn't need accuracy to land the decrease attack as long as there's a burn out there. Now, the trouble is you do need accuracy to land this. What else we've got here? Decreases the duration of all debuffs on all allies by a turn. Then gives them a weak source strengthen. This buff cannot be removed or stolen. That's actually pretty good as well, honestly. You know, Tilt Hydra. You don't want your buffs taken away. Well, a strengthen buff straight up reducing the damage that you take whilst it not being possible to be stolen. 4-turn cooldown. Damn, this epic feels good as well. This feels like a good epic to me. And then a passive, what's this? Every time an enemy under a burn takes a turn, decreases the duration of 2 random buffs on that enemy by 1 turn. Okay, I guess, you know, again, maybe it's aimed as a Hydra ability. So burns are out there trying to take buffs off of that enemy group. That's the main place that I'd see this happening. The other place might be in stuff like waves of enemies, you know, waves of enemies in Doom Tower or Faction Wars, that type of thing. But again, this is solid. It's a solid passive. Resistance in all battles by 35. I mean, 35 is particularly low. But generally, this is a good epic. This is a good epic, in my opinion. So, first 2, really solid, actually. Let's go for the next one. It's in the Orcs. So, we've got ourselves Yella Gurna. Yella Gurna. Damn, that is a sword right there. Look at that. That is a blade. You don't want to mess with that. How the hell can she even wield it? The sword's bigger than her. Fair enough. So we've had smelling salts, we've had candles, and now we've got this kind of like weird flamey skulls coming out of the head. We're seeing a pattern here. There's definitely a pattern that people like stuff are light around them. They're a fire hazard, all of these people. So Yellow Gurna, what's going on with this one? Attack based, low defense, pretty low HP as well. So she's going to struggle to stay alive unless she's got some sort of inbuilt mechanic to do so. Double hitter on her A1, places increased attack on this champion for 2 turns if she kills someone. I'm guessing she's going to hit hard. If she doesn't hit hard already, I'm worrying for her in the game. AoE decrease attack ability, books to 100% on a 3 turn. It's okay, pretty good. And then an A3 here. So this AoE's got to hit hard really for her to be decent. Then we got books to 100% chance of putting a block buffs on someone and block active skills. And this attack always crits. This is a weird kit to me. I mean, this attack always crits. So you're saying, well, you don't necessarily need full crit rate to make this work. Everything else does need crit rate, though. You need to kill someone here, so you need crit rate to do that. I don't know about this, really. The skill sets are just a bit all over the place for me. What else we got here? Revives 1 random ally with 50% HP every time she kills an enemy. Pretty good for Orcs, honestly, because revivers are going to be good for faction wars. It's mainly a faction war kind of push. And, you know, in terms of revivers here, what have we got going on? Yord, I think, is a reviver. Yeah, so you got 1 here in Yord. You've got the kind of shaman entry level who's not particularly good. So if she does hit hard and she kills stuff, then you can get champions back. Albeit she's going to be quite difficult to keep alive herself. Not sure about this one. Give me a comment below. What do you think? Yellow Gurna, sorry. Feels pretty average. Feels pretty average, that one. And then the last one is going to be a Shadowkin. Shadowkin, where are you? Where are you? What? Woodgie. Probably pronounced that very wrong. Ooh, sexy. Cool looking champion. I'm only seeing the eyes. Weirdly, no flames or anything inflammatory coming out of shoulders or heads on this one. It's a strange design to me to have nothing which could set her alight. But damn, looking pretty cool. Actually looking a bit like the person at the end of Multiverse of Madness who slices open the realm. You know what I'm saying. You know the one. I don't know her name. Looks pretty cool. Right, what's going on? Wow. This is maybe the lowest HP of any champion I've seen in the game. 10k. 10k HP. It's like they forgot to add another number in. Wow, that's low. That's very low. Right, what's going on? A1 attacks an enemy. What's this? Force affinity. 30% chance of placing a weaken. Will target all enemies instead of one when counter-attacking with this skill. That's pretty cool. That's actually a really cool A1. If she's got something that makes it happen. A2 then, AoE block buffs. Goes up to, 60-75% chance. 4 turn. I mean, you compare it to some other epics in the game. You've got Udo's doing 100%. Plus she's doing drop defense at the same time. Plus she can stay alive. I don't know about this. I'm not sure about this. She's got the A3 then, puts Perfect Veil on herself, which makes her take less damage and counterattack as well. So that enables the A1 to do work. And that's it. I feel like they've forgotten to put a passive in here that makes her unkillable because she's so killable. I mean, that is weird. Is that just so weird? What have we got here? An uncommon, 11k HP. Uncommon, 13k HP. Like, I don't really get where the 10k is coming from. A common champion, not much below her. A common champion, more HP. That's a weird one for me. I mean, even if she hits like an absolute freight train, what is going on with that kit? That feels, to me, feels like a bit of a weak epic again. So it feels like we've got 2 strong ones in the Sacred Order. The other 2, not so strong. Let me know what you think below, though. Do you think different to that? Like to get your thoughts. Let's move on to the legendaries then. So we'll start with the fusion that we're all kind of got a chance to grab. Lonath Thariel. I did do a video on this yesterday, so you can kind of check that out if you want. But it is good to see books and stuff. High base HP, actually. 23k is pretty good. Good base defense. Good base speed. Yeah, looking very regal. Okay, what's going on? So we know his kit already. He's got shields on his A1. Gets a bit of extra damage here. Pretty good. The shieldage on the A1 I quite like. The shield on the A2 I like. Hooks to a 3 turn. Now that's big for Scarab. This guy feels like an absolute Scarab boss king. Like that feels like what he is. And then he's not bad somewhere else like Hydra. But Scarab boss feels like his place. What's weird to me here? So if there's a dead ally, the shield kicks in for 3 turns on a 30% of his HP. Yeah, and it can't be stolen. Before that, it can be stolen. So if you're going for Scarab boss, you actually have got to have one fodder champion that dies through the waves. And then he becomes an absolute beast. Beast mode Scarab boss. Without that happening, he becomes a bit useless. He not useless, just nowhere near as good. But the fact that he's got a shield buff for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, there's not many champions that do this, and it's a big shield. It's going to make him decent for Spider. It's going to make him good or amazing for Scarab boss, and good for Hydra. And then he's got, what, a 4-turn cooldown on his ally attack, which is okay, with some crit damage. All allies attacking is good. His passive here, this is weird. This is weird to me. Takes 20% more damage against targets under a shield. Imagine if this was inflicts 20% more damage, or your team inflict 20% more damage if they've got a shield. Then we've maybe got a champion. Yeah, at the moment, his kit is just a little bit too Scarab boss focused for me. It's too, like, I like people to have a real direction in the game. Like, what should they be used for? I do like it. But for me, this one feels a bit too one-dimensional against a boss which you can really take down once you start to get blood shield items anyway. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it someone that you're massively pushing for as a fusion? Or actually, a few of those epics, do they feel like they're more valuable to you as a fusion? So we'll see. This guy will be set up as a kind of collect fragments for the epics, and then the epics fuse into the legendary. So you know, he will be quite difficult to get, I think. Let's go on to the other legendary champions, which were not kind of part of the fusion here. So we've got one in the Night Revs, who is going to be Theodore. Pretty cool looking champion here. Looks a little bit like Singed, actually, from League of Legends. Theodore's got the kind of poison oozing out of him. Okay, cool. High base defense, high base HP, very fast again. So we've got a decent support set of stats here. AoE decreased speed, really good for Hydra. Such a good ability. Why Shamrock's starting to get some use nowadays. AoE decreased speed on a 50%, pretty solid. Defense-based damage as well, so you build his defense up, keeps him alive, whilst also doing your work. Got an A2, books to a 3-turn, 100% chance of putting 2 poisons and poison sensitivity on all enemies. Damn, that's decent, actually. Also places increased speed on all allies. Wow, that's a decent ability right there. I mean, poison does fall off a bit late game because it just does less damage. You know, burns become stronger late game, poison stronger early game. But speed control on an A1 and an A2, plus someone doing an AoE poison sensitivity. I don't think we've got anyone that does that right now. And multiple poisons across teams, helping out poison exploders and stuff. That feels like a good A2 to me. It's not an attack. It's not an attack, so it will place on all enemies. So affinity isn't a problem for this. Feels decent. And then we've got the A3, books to a 3-turn. Increases the duration of all poisons and HP burns on all enemies by a turn. Then activates them. Wow, this is good. Activates any poisons and HP burns on each enemy. Damn, we need to playtest this because does it activate them into nothing or does it just activate one turn? I think it's probably just for one turn. But wow, that's actually a cool ability right there. That's a ton of damage he's going to kick out when he's chunking those things away. Places weaken on for 2 turns on enemies not under these debuffs. That's cool as well. So it's got like an alternative if you're not looking for the poison and burn stuff to happen. 3 turns. And then we've got a passive. This champion's resistance is increased by 5 for each poison on the enemy team, which is okay. I mean, you're probably going to get yourself, let's say you got 4 enemies, 4 times 8. Well, you're going to get yourself 4 times, what am I saying? He puts out 2 poisons on each enemy, so 8 poisons. So he's getting about 40 extra resistance there. It's not the most, honestly, to make a big difference. And I'm not sure that he's likely to be a resistance tank. I guess resistance is always going to be good at endgame and Hydra and stuff. So could be okay. Accuracy in all battles as well. Good base stats. He feels like a decent addition to the game. Really cool looking legendary here. Let's go to the next one then. We've got a Skinwalker. People are going to love this champion. Look at this. So this is based on some artwork that someone did for a competition. So Snittrack was actually, I think the person came like top 3 or something in competition. They've not done it exactly to that artwork, but they kind of based this model on that design, which is cool. We've got ourselves a hedgehog, but a pretty fierce looking one, almost like with a weasel face. This dude looks sick. I absolutely love it. It's kind of got like the sword through the apple type thing going on here. I don't know if this just reminds me a bit of The Witcher. You know, the dude from The Witcher? Anyway, cool looking guy. Massive base defense and HP. Good speed again. So good base stats here. Damage is all coming from HP. So we've got an attacks one enemy on his A1. Books up to 60% chance of placing decreased attacks. Pretty good. If they're under a leech, just straight up to 100% decreased attack before attacking. That's nice. Got an AoE on a 3-turn on the A2. Books to 100% chance of placing that decreased speed. Also puts a shield on all allies equal to 30% of his HP. Nice. The shield cannot be removed if it's placed if there's enemies under, if there are any enemies under a leech. Damn. That's a really cool, like this feels like More like what the fusion should be saying. That is a great A2 right there. And then we've got an ally protect. So places ally protect on all champions except him. And the reflect damage on all allies. Then heals him for 50% of their max HP. I mean, the reflect damage is going to be like the reflect damage, which is a bit weak sauce, honestly. But the ally protect is going to be solid. Free turn. It's okay. It probably feels like it needs something else, honestly. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. And in the passive here, this might be where the reflect becomes decent. Whenever an ally under reflect is attacked, places a leech on the attacker. Reflects 50% of the damage this champion receives back to the attacker. Well, that's actually nasty. 50%. So if you can imagine with those kind of like clan boss reflects, 50% is a lot of damage when you've got an ally protect going off. Increases the amount of damage reflected by 20% from reflect damage buffs placed by this champion. So generally for anybody, instead of a 30, it's going to be a 50. Ooh, that's actually pretty juicy. Yeah, the trouble generally with reflect damage is it's all done after mitigation, so you don't get that much reflected back. But when you've got a high HP champion, it's possible that you could actually reflect pretty silly numbers. So this could be quite a cool passive, actually. The leech I like. Upping the reflect to 50% feels good. We've got HP in all battles as well. That's another cool legendary. I think both of them, for me, way better than the fusion. What do you guys think? When we got one more. One more, and it's a void legendary champion, and it's an orc. Check out the skin on this one. And I'm not really sure in terms of lore and stuff, orcs with wings. I'm not really sure about that. If it even is a wing, like officially a wing, or if it's like an armor piece type of thing. But damn, this is a cool looking champion. Awesome banner, like dripping fell type of stuff. One of the best bras I've ever seen. I'll be honest. This is my favorite bra I've ever seen. Cool shoulder guards as well. Yeah, this is cool. So, massive base stats here. Big attack, defense, massive speed, 109. Love it. Attacks an enemy, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 10% of this champion's max HP. A bit like a Duchess style A1. Removes all debuffs, or a full cleanse for your team. Then places increased attack and shield based on her HP. This is kind of a bit similar to the Duchess's A2 in a way, but instead of going for like the block debuffs approach, it's more of a cleanse, then increase attack. It's almost like doing it in reverse, but I like it on a 3-turn. And then we've got an A3, which is again a little bit like a Duchess ability. Revive with turn meter, but then this one puts out block debuffs for 2 turns. Will place block debuffs even if there are no dead allies. Okay, so this is one of those weird ones where she'll use this even if nobody's dead. That's not always good, I'll be honest. That's not always good. So that was often the problem with Ugo, is she'd use her revive ability before she needed it. And then it just becomes a 2-turn block debuffs on a 4-turn cooldown. That's a long cooldown for a relatively minor skill. It's a cool ability when you're getting the full revive going on, but it's quite a minor ability if you're just getting block debuffs. So I wonder if they've coded that in a strong way, because I feel like she's just going to go ahead and do it. It's also quite hard to control the AI when you've got an ability like this, because you don't just want to turn it off, but you also don't want to doing it as like a priority, just throwing out those block debuffs when they're not needed. So a lot depends on how well she's coded here. What's the passive then? At the start of each turn, builds a turn meter of all allies by 10%. Damn, that is really cool. And then, what's this? A 2-turn cooldown. At the start of each turn, places continuous heal on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns. Will not place on this champion. It feels solid. Like, generally, it feels like a solid kit. I'm not sure about this A3, but that is, I mean, that is a void legendary right there if they've coded the A3 to be decent. So there you go, guys. 8 new champions, 4 of them epics, 4 legendaries. What do you think? Let me know down below in a comment. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you later.